Okay, I think we can start now. Hi, everyone. We have been hearing a lot about smart cities, and there are many aspects and many different definitions. But just to make it easier for you to understand, I would define smart cities as cities where everything is just like interconnected to each other. It all depends on the type of technology and the type of the protocol. So we have a new Saturday, of course, with another live session with the European Elite Business Hub. My name is Walid, and today our very special guest is Aleksandar Mastilovic, the Director of Telecommunications at the Communication Regulatory Agency in Bosnia and Herzegovina. And Aleksandar is well known in being very active in promoting smart technologies for improving quality of life and building a smart society. Today, Aleksandar will be talking about the road to urban living in the 21st century. Therefore, I want you guys to hit us with as many questions as you can during the live session in the comments below, and we will do our best to answer them all. Please watch the video till the end. As usual, we have amazing and special gifts waiting for you. So, hi, Aleksandar. Hope you're doing fine. First of all, I would really want to thank you for accepting our invitation. I know that you are all the time like busy, almost full I have full schedule of 24/7. So really, thanks once again. There is the fact that we have really a good number of audience from LinkedIn and Facebook who are very excited to hear about this topic today. So I would just now, if you can take it from here, just like to introduce with a short bio and talk about yourself.
Well, thank you for the invitation to talk about smart cities and the technology. In general, it's very important to understand what is the position of the technology in our lives and why we want to use and push technology in every aspect of our lives in 21st century. Thank you for the nice introduction. And yes, actually, I'm quite busy. The last 2-3 years, I moved back to my homeland, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and started working at the national regulator as director of telecommunications here. But I used to be academic around the world. I was working on one European project before, focused on smart grid and 5G telecommunication infrastructure for supporting, the smart technologies and massive sensor deployments. After a few years around the world, I moved back here, trying to create a bridge between developed countries and to transfer the knowledge and experience to my country here and in Bosnia and also in Serbia and the whole region of Western Balkans. And I can say that from my perspective, I can say that I'm successful. Bosnia and Herzegovina is not anymore the only one country in Europe without 4G. So we are walking in the direction to 5G as soon as possible right now. Wonderful. I deployed the first full operational smart city service in the Western Balkan region, also here in Bosnia. I'm now trying to push a few projects in Serbia also. So yeah, I can say that there is a lot of things to do besides my regular job working for government for the first time in my life. So this is completely new experience in regulation and trying to build a positive, affirmative, legal and regulatory framework for deployment of new technological solutions.
Wonderful.
And motivate, of course, our telecom industry to support this vision. About me, shortly, I'm very proud to say that for 3 years, I was member of executive boards for publications in IEEE International Electrical Electronic Engineers organization, the largest world's professional organization with more than 500,000 members, with budget close to, let's say, $1 billion approximately. What is important, that was a completely new perspective because I'm still now involved in many working groups, working on standards, on promoting many technological ideas and vision. Of course, smart cities is one of working groups I'm very involved in. So yeah, that's some short overview from that perspective, and also what is maybe important to say now. I'm using my position here, national regulator, to be very active in communications with ITU, also with BEREC, the community of European regulators. Just in this month, in last 4 weeks, 5 times I appeared in some webinars of ITU on different topics, including broadcasting for TV, in terrestrial mean. Also, I was talking about implementation on modern and smart ICT solutions for agriculture, smart cities. Yeah, I can say it. I just know that it was a 5 webinars appearance that we discussed about different kind of implementation of smart technologies.
Great, great. I know that you have lots of, talks and speaks like in Bosnia, in Europe, and internationally. So for anyone who is really interested in smart cities, I suggest to follow Aleksandar on LinkedIn, because you will see a lot, really, lots of interesting topics which he talks about. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, no, you are welcome. So as I said, of course, if you find any interesting question of our audience, you can just stop me. And I prefer to talk with people. I'm here because our audience, actually. So that's the most important thing, that they can say that this is that they use the time in good way. So this webinar should be very educational. I will try to be not only technical, but also some strategical approach, also regulations, legal side, and strategic side with sense of why we need smart cities. Is really necessary to involve ICT solutions in every aspect of our life. It's very interesting question, and I will try to explain that let's say statement, because I really believe that is really necessary, and I can share a few arguments with you. So for very beginning, I want to explain what is the smart city concept. There is 3 different concepts. Let's say first is smart cities, then you have responsive cities, and then you have sustainable cities. Smart cities is directed in technological way. It's a very complex urban system,
Okay.
based on ICT technologies and data-driven. Data-driven cities means that you're collecting a lot of data from massively deployed sensors, trying to learn about the habits of your citizens, of the real state of your infrastructure, your resources, and trying to optimize usage of your resources. I'll just try to use a few examples to illustrate that. For example, if you have a static city without real-time collecting of information, and in that moment, for example, if you talk about the public transportation in some urban areas, you send amount of vehicles on your streets, buses, trams, I don't know, trams in subways, whatever, and you keep that number continuously for a whole day. But the real needs are completely different. For example, very early in the morning, first, if your public transportation start to operate, for example, at 5 a.m., in that moment, you have just a few people using that. After 1 hour, maybe hour and a half, people start going to offices. Depends when your working time starts. For example, at 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m.
Then at that time, probably you need more of the transportation.
Exactly. And if you have sensors, just to count the number of passengers of different kind of vehicles, you can see from which parts of cities you have the additional needs for vehicles, and people moving to specific part of cities, usually to city center, where is, let's say, the business area of the city. For example, just try to imagine your own city in that picture.
I can imagine, like, the daily commute, for instance, in the UAE, like between Sharjah and Dubai, because lots of residents live in Sharjah, and they commute and work in Dubai. And like at the rush hour, it is like you need to pass 12 kilometers. Like you need around maybe 1.5 hours to pass those 12 kilometers.
Exactly. And plus, you have a lot of passengers inside. Many of people just standing. In one moment, you are just squeezed inside the trams. And that's decreasing actually your quality of experience if you talk about the public transportation service. People are not happy with that. Okay, we will survive. And we are very patient that we are living like that for years. But if you use technology, we can improve our quality of life in general, because just continue imagine this. After the rush hour in the morning, you have the silent period of day, not too many people. And then after the working hours, people moving back to homes. You have opposite direction from the point B to point A, again around 4 or 5 p.m. And you need more vehicles going in this direction. And plus you have a pairs of points, maybe not only one pair of points. You have a many pairs of points, people moving from here to here or from this point to this point here. And if you track that behaviors and trying to understand the habits of people, after maybe few months or maybe 1 year, you can collect enough data to apply machine learning or artificial intelligence or any other optimization algorithm and deploy some software who will collect the data, create some calculation inside and optimize the management of the traffic. In that moment, you have the guy working for a government, for a local government, who is responsible to control and manage the public transportation system. And he can just press the button and send the order, okay, 3 drivers more, starting right now, and going to, I don't know, starting a bus station here, because for 30 minutes we are expecting that.
Yeah.
This is the first step. Then you can do it automatically without the guy press the button. The system can send the order. This is the next level. And then we become our city becomes very intelligent, because you don't need any human interaction. Plus, you have a specific, let's say, you have a specific events. What's happening in one part of the city, for example, in Dubai or in Munich or in London, if you have a football match, I don't know, if you just check on English Premier League, okay, and you have a London derby between Chelsea and Arsenal, and you know on which stadium you have a match that day, the behavior of the people, of the citizens of the London will be changed dramatically, and you cannot predict with usual schematics. So you need to react immediately. And in that moment, if you can react immediately, your smart city becomes responsible city. Responsible city is when your city improve their function, its function in the way that they are able to react as a living being. If I touch you by finger, you will move yourself. So if you have some changing in the behavior of the people, your city services will be changing immediately. So
everything will be, well organized and
exactly.
And probably this is somehow like you are changing even the lifestyle of the people, the way they commute, the way they
exactly
organize.
It's only about the public transportation, but we cannot talk only about the public transportation. We can talk about smart lights.
Now my question for you. I mean, I know that you have worked on many big projects. So like many people actually are wondering, why do societies need actually the smart cities? Like, so I would like to hear, I mean, other than what is available there?
I will give you the answer on that, but let's summarize what's going on with transportation. You improve your quality of your service, and then you're saving money, because if you don't need public transportation, if your trams are empty or just a few people in one period day, you can decrease the number of vehicles. For the same amount of money, for the ticket price, you can increase the number when it's necessary. So you can optimize your, let's say, resources. In this, in this aspect, your resources are your vehicles you're using for public transportation.
But not only
But
that, you will be able also to do like enormous, well, like cut cost. With
exactly,
your, yeah,
it's a financial aspect of benefits. It's a quality of service. At the end of story, it's quality of life for your citizens, a quality of experience of living in urban areas. But let's take a broader picture of the city. What's about the smart lights? Is necessary that your city is shining in the night, in the middle of night, when maybe in the huge city like Dubai, you have maybe 100 people just walking around in the middle of night at 3 a.m. It's really necessary to have 100% power of the lighting system. And okay, you can take a super nice picture of the city in the night from the space shuttle, from the space,
yeah,
and in high resolution. That's it. Actually, you are wasting your energy in that moment. You are increasing the costs. At the end of story, you need to pay that, and your government will calculate how much taxes you need to pay just to cover the costs. So you can save the money here and invest, I don't know, in parks, in infrastructure, in some entertainment events or locations in the city, new schools, new universities. You can just reinvest that money in something in a much smarter way than that. So from that perspective, it's one excuse. Then, smart waste management. Uh, First, we can talk about gamification. If you separate the plastics and, I don't know, glass, metal, and if you do that in some smart way, you can collect some city points. After you collect some city points enough, you can buy, for example, the public transportation ticket for that. The government will take your waste and recycle to something new, creating the new value. So government will sell your plastics to some centers for recyclation, for example. In that moment, from that money, the trip will be covered. You don't need to pay the ticket.
yeah,
Then you
yeah,
have a vehicles who are going to collect the garbage, the waste from the boxes in the cities. But sometimes you usually the truck will come once per day, sometimes 2 times. But it's something what is the static schedule. Okay, you are going there at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. That's it. But what will happen if in the middle of the day, I don't know, I want to renew I'm rebuilding something in my flat, and I have a lot of things I throw out,
yeah.
and I just create the hill of garbage around the box, and you need to wait for hours. Especially, it's a critical if you can imagine some biological waste you throw out during the summer. It's very hot and start smell very bad very soon after maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour. It's not okay. But that moment is very important that you have a sensor that can trigger for some level, like 80% of your waste box is full. So you can request the truck come to collect the garbage as soon as possible within 1 hour, for example. And then when your truck starting, you can create how many locations send the signal that they should be visited by the truck, and you can create the optimal route. And each time your driver take and sit in the truck, they will get completely different route. Depends what is really the situation in
It's
the
really
city.
needed, yeah, yeah, to sort out and whatnot. Maybe in some areas, if the trucks don't even like, there's no need for the trucks even like to go every day. Maybe they
Exactly.
need to go every three or
Maybe
4 days.
once per week,
Yeah,
maybe. And you just send the trucks there just to avoid that people are not satisfied with the service, but actually you are spending the money. You are paying the guy who are driving that. You are spending your truck actually. A truck getting older, more kilometers. You spend the energy again, gas, and from that perspective, it's obvious that it could be optimized. And there is a lot of examples: public transportation, waste management, environmental projects, many different kinds of services should be observed from the perspective how we can optimize the resources management. When I say resources, I think in financial way, human resources also, money, whatever. and plus, of course, you have additional effects. All smart city projects are very environmental friendly because, for example, if you decrease the level of lights during the night, it's very positive. There are a lot of positive effects on biodiversity because with lights we are actually killing the natural cycle of day and night. We are still in some kind of day. It affects our quality of sleeping. It affects animals, plants, everything. There is a scientific proof for that. Plus, we are spending energy. From our perspective, we prefer always to understand everything from the side of financial effects, because we are talking always about the business models and things like that. So there is a lot of secondary positive effects of implementation smart city services. Why I prefer smart cities to talk about? Because if you talk to broader audience, is the place where it's the easiest to meet regular people with technology, because we are talking about services and places which all of us meet every day for a few times. Maybe let's say if you are living in an urban area, you are surrounded by city services.
Yeah.
So if we can launch technology to help us to optimize and to manage these services, we can transform our cities. But it's not only that we can say that if, okay, my city becomes smart, and that's great, and maybe that's great for marketing promotion for tourism, but it's not about that. There is official prediction of United Nations about the acceleration of the urbanization process around the world. So predictions said that in 2050, 75% of citizens around the globe will be moved to cities in urban areas from rural and suburban areas because a lot of reasons. I don't know, better quality of life in general, hospitals, universities, infrastructure. It's easier to live there because everything is close. You don't need to drive to shop or whatever. And people just trying to move to urban areas. We are just trying to push a lot of people in a very small area. The density of population increasing very fast. And besides that, there is a prediction that just in India, you will have at least 10 cities with more than 50 million people.
Yeah, I know. India is, I mean, one of the largest population in the world, definitely.
But not only, because India is not so successful in the process of decentralization.
Yeah.
China trying to do that in that direction, but in India there is just a few centers and the whole population of the country trying to move there. So at least 10 cities will be 40, 50 million people. It's just for 30 years. In that moment, it's very, very complicated. It's almost impossible to just try to imagine the local government trying to organize the water distribution system, just to have water to drink, you know, for 50 million people in small area.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many natural sources you have, it's very limited for that kind of population. Waste management, quality of air. We can discuss infrastructure for transportation. You need the highways, not regular highways, 2-3 tracks, 5 tracks one direction, 5 tracks another. But we are not sure if it's enough. And that's the reason when we want to plan the new infrastructure, for example, new roads, new highways, we need to collect data to count how many people travel in that direction each day, because maybe it's not enough 5 plus 5. Maybe we need 7 plus 7 if we want to avoid the traffic collapse in one moment. We are talking about 50 million people. It's a double more than New York right now. So not only one city, we are talking at least 10 cities in this prediction. It doesn't matter.
I have one question that popped up. Like, for instance, what about like the for instance, the cities in, I mean, the old cities in the European countries, like for instance, in the Middle East, when you say, okay, we need to make a road of 5 tracks, I mean, you will find the infrastructure for that. They can do it. I mean, they are doing that infrastructure all the time, and they're expanding. They make a road today, like within 2 years, they will decide to change it based on the demand, based on the demand. But what about like countries like in Europe? I mean, where you don't have that enough infrastructure, even there is no enough investment, which I will come back because I wanted to ask also about the investment and the return of investment actually when countries decide to go for smart cities.
Okay, for European countries, there is a let's say I think around the 20 cities working very hard in this direction, but my personal opinion that they are working on that just because of marketing, because if you visit Munich or London, the infrastructure in these cities are very high level right now, so they are not under the pressure because they are already established the high quality. So before technology, they over-dimensioned all resources. So if you need 3+3 high roads, you know, in the city to avoid the traffic collapse in one moment of the day, they built 4+4 already. So that was the way how, for example, people in Germany or UK doing that. But many countries like India, for example, India is in real need for technology and smart cities because they are not too rich country, have a lot of people living there, and very fast urbanization. Because if you're living in so urban or rural area in Germany, in UK, maybe you are thinking to stay there, at least with the idea, okay, it's a quiet, it's a nice after the work, I have my private life, you know, I can relax, especially some kind of people prefer that kind of life. But in India, if you are living in a rural area, you are living in really low level quality of life, for example, these people are very motivated to move to urban areas. And from that perspective, the motivation is different, because if you are already successful in the management of your infrastructure and public services, so you can do something. It's not about money, but you are not under pressure because your citizens are already satisfied and happy with your services. So you will do that in the time easily. You know, it's not intensive project. There is a few pilot projects. They are started just to demonstrate all options, all abilities of smart cities from the aspects of motivation. For example, the city Erfurt in Germany is the federal experimentation lab. It's one mid-sized city, and this federal government of the German just decide, okay, for all companies, for Siemens, for Bosch, for everybody, just go there and try whatever you want and try to build the smart cities. If it's successful, we can move in bigger cities like Munich, Berlin, Hamburg, Frankfurt, etc. Maybe there is something similar in UK, Spain, France. I suppose there is a small city for experimentation, and then we will move. But in many, each of us who have visited Germany, we know that the train transportation infrastructure, the high roads, they are very good, established and planned already. So there is no pressure, and I cannot say that I need technology just to be satisfied with the service. And from that perspective, maybe it's not so intensive process there as we expect it to be, because it's not about financial thing, it's just about the real needs. Who are in the United States, there is also at least 10 cities trying to acting as a pilot platform for smart city services. Is not people are not.
Just a second. I think we lost the sound. Your microphone is lost. I can't hear you. Your microphone is lost. Just try to.
Hello?
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah, now it's fine.
Okay. I was start talking about the United States situation. Maybe not the most famous cities are involved, but some small cities also, approximately 10 to 20, right now doing some pilot projects with the topic of smart cities. Some of them trying to do more services, some of them just trying to establish one service as a pilot project. And as you ask, actually, some cities trying to understand what is the return of investment period for that for installation of some specific services. For example, what's the return of investment if you transform your public light system? You are saving between 40 and 50% of the energy, but you need to invest some money. Or what's the time you need to get your money back, and then you have savings and you can reinvest in some other project. So.
Okay, all right. Now I'll just go through some of the questions now fast, because like we usually, for those live sessions, we have a time limit like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, but okay, sometimes we will go for longer if needed. Now, when we talk like in general about smart cities, what are the major international regulations, policies, and what are like the crucial technologies that are engaged in smart cities?
That's a great question, actually, and that's a very important thing I forgot to say, so thank you for this question. Actually, there is something what is recognized as a fundamental triangle for successful vision of smart cities. It's Internet of Things. It's Internet of Things means massive deployment of sensors. Sensors should be installed in everything around us. I just want to present right now that I'm not the guy who are just talking about the technology. I'm living technology. I'm just using here the smart water bottle, which reminds me to drink some amount of water every 15 minutes or half hour. This is smart mug checking my coffee if I'm using tea or coffee, and many things. Internet of Things means to deploy sensors everywhere just to track some data. Maybe we can count the passengers in transportation. We can check the level of waste in the waste box around the cities. We can detect the people who are walking. If your lights are, I don't know, 30% of power in one moment, okay, let's wake up the system, somebody coming, 100% next 5 minutes. If nobody moving in this part of city, in some walking area, just decrease the power level. We collecting some data, and then we are talking about billions of sensors in the cities like Dubai, because we are tracking everything. We are trying to track everything. The specific side of this discussion is a privacy, of course, but maybe not topic today. But I'll just jump with one sentence. When if I count the number of passengers in transportation, it doesn't mean that they identify who using the transportation. It's not the camera. It's just the motion trigger, for example. Just trying to count 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not saying Valid, Aleksandar, or anybody either, So I don't need information who. I just need +1. And then if I have 50 people or more, and if I have 50 seats in buses, okay. If I usually have in this period of day more than 50 people waiting for bus, I need 2, not 1. So that's the only thing what is necessary. So we are talking about billion sensors. We need to transfer the data from the place in the city where is the source of data to some data center where we save and collect, and we need 5G for that. I heard a lot of conspiracy theories about 5G. I know everything what is behind that.
I mean, I have a question for you in the list with regards to the 5G. But okay, we can come to it later if you want. So I'll just go like one by one.
Okay, 5G is telecommunication infrastructure which is necessary to talk with sensors. 5G is not important for people. 5G is first generation of mobile network which is not human-centric. It's machine-centric. 5G is designed to collect sensors data, massive deployed sensor around us, and from the one place where we count to the place of data center where we collect data, where we store data, analyze, reclassify in some specific group, and trying to find some additional knowledge between the facts we collect. And of course, new knowledge means the new value for us. And when we transfer the data to the data centers, we have big data. Big data is something what is a new concept of data storage and analyzing. Usually we are talking about databases. Databases are structured.
Yeah.
You have some columns. We can talk about multidimensional databases, but doesn't matter, it's still structured. Big data will try to find correlation between data which is not obvious for us. For example, if it's cold and raining, it's everybody of us will expect that Walid will take a jacket, and it's a logical thing. It's very obvious from human logic. But if I'm track your habits, if I find, for example, if it's raining, Walid always wearing the blue jacket, there is no logic that the color is correlated with raining or not, or sunny day, with weather at all. But maybe it is. What if it is? And big data will try to find correlation, which we will not try to check if at least exists at all. Somewhere behind all this data, there is a lot of hidden knowledge. This is the one fact.
Technology has went so far. I mean, many people don't even realize up to which extent or level is technology now going. Yeah.
In that moment, we are talking about artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
And we are stepping that area at that moment, and that this artificial intelligence will check all possible combination, even it's not logical for human race. But if we can find some habits, maybe we can optimize something in few additional steps, because we didn't check on that. There is no logical idea just to check what is behind. And we count on machine learning and artificial intelligence as a next level of analyzing collected data. And just to repeat, Internet of Things, 5G, big data, it's triangle. It's a fundamental level for smart technologies at all, of course, smart cities behind. And that's something what is fundamentally important to remember, that it's about the place where the data is born, then you transfer 5G, and then you store and collect in big data centers, let's say that.
Great.
So you have these 3 points. It's very important.
By the way, we will be organizing maybe next month some topic about data centers as well. This is somewhere in my schedule, so hopefully it will be like in a month or two coming up.
This could be super nice introduction for your speaker for data centers.
Yeah.
Because data centers will be redesigned in next 10 years, because the amount of data which will be collected for next few years will be dramatically increased thanks to Internet of Things and 5G. So it's not just some manually enter the data. We are talking about billion sensors at homes, at our garage, in our offices, around the city, trying to collect different data, just that we can plan.
Okay, now why are people mixing 5G with the effect of COVID-19? I have seen this. I mean, lots of news going on with 5G and COVID-19. I know and I believe that the 5G has nothing to do with COVID.
It's completely wrong to say it's 5G. We can talk about the health effects of electromagnetic waves and radiation. So wireless telecommunication signals are just one specific type of electromagnetic waves. The light, the sunlight, is electromagnetic wave. The light from the lamp is electromagnetic wave. Different frequencies, different wavelengths are different colors in our eyes. And we have a part of electromagnetic spectrum which is visible for us, and the most of the spectrum is not visible. The part of invisible spectrum is also telecommunication wireless. This may be specific. I don't want to speculate about possible political reasons why these conspiracy theories spread around.
Just to say,
to
something is
it's
going
a
on.
it's I'm talking about David Icke. David Icke is the guy who has a TV show in the United States on, I don't know, NBC or ABC TV, very popular in the United States, and he started talking about the 5G in that direction, saying that 5G is the reason and causes all problems in the world, health effects, cancers, vaccine issues, COVID relations, whatever. But the guy who are talking, the David Icke, is a football goalkeeper,
Goalkeeper.
actually. So his expertise on that is zero. He's just a guy who trying to become popular, maybe to sell some books,
Yeah.
and etc. etc. Of course, there is something specific in 5G. 5G will start using millimeter wave communication for the first time. It's a spectrum band around 30 gigahertz. And this is for the first time we are using 30 gigahertz, not point to point, but also to cover the city omnidirectionally in all directions, just to use as a regular communication. We are talking about small cells.
Yeah.
It's a small base station acting something similar like a Wi-Fi router, trying to cover just 100, 200 meters around, but enabling high speeds, 1 gigabit per second. What is completely impossible is the level of fiber optic systems. But small cells should be very competitive with fiber optics. So we are trying to kill the cable infrastructure and to resolve all problems with wireless, if it's possible. And there is a people say this is very high frequency. It's maybe it could be danger for us. I will just remind our audience of one very funny fact, and you can check on the Google, of course, if you are not physicians or engineering guy. The frequency of visible light, and light means life on the earth, is 300,000 gigahertz. It's the lowest level of the frequency of visible light. You are going on beach, you know, on very sunny day and enjoying, and that's not super high frequency, and you are scared by 30 gigahertz just because the goalkeeper said that. Okay, it's a funny. I don't want to say that maybe somebody doing that with a reason, but from my professional position, it's a fun.
Yeah.
I had at least 20 TV appearances on these topics, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, the whole show, 1 hour talking and explaining people on this. Somebody blaming that I'm trying to promote the technology. I'm the part of, I don't know, some organization, secret organization trying to kill people around the world.
Oh my God.
But it looks like a middle age in Europe, you know. If you remember the guys who said that the earth is not flat.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I understand the position of Galileo and Kepler, you know. Really, in the very beginning, at the very beginning, it was funny. But later, when I saw on TV and newspapers that 5G stations are burning around the world, in UK, in Netherlands, I'm not talking about the countries which are not developed. People in Netherlands, in UK, in average, are very educated people. Still there, it's happening.
Yeah.
People trying to take photos of 5G towers and say, okay, somebody install 5G towers. During the night, they are trying to kill us. And next night, somebody going there just trying to destroy it.
Yeah, I have seen lots of photos where people are actually lighting up the antennas on fire, and
exactly. And the point is,
that was insane. Yeah.
The point is, in 90% of these situations, it's not 5G tower, it's 4G or 3G, and it looks very similar. But somebody just create a picture in its head, and you have a dramatic results. People are always scared, and it's okay if people don't understand what's going on behind. And I really, to be honest, I'm not blaming David Icke. I'm blaming us. When I said us, I'm talking about the engineering community around the world. We didn't try to explain and promote all these technologies to people. I always said, when I have these webinars or seminars in person or TV appearances,
yeah,
I'm really ready to sit and explain to everybody what's going on there with 5G. I can talk about 5G. I cannot talk about COVID viruses. I'm not expert in biology, but I can really try to explain this from the position of engineer who understand it, because I'm in this topic in wireless communication for almost 20 years. I cannot count the number of books, sources, scientific papers, projects I was working on. And that moment, I don't know, I remember the local girl who just watched 3 videos on YouTube for maybe 2 hours in total, and she's convinced that 5G is the fatal technology for us. And then she tried to create a webinar promoting resistance to 5G, calling people on the streets to destroy all wireless infrastructure around the country.
Oh my God.
That's crazy, actually.
But then
And
she should have started from destroying her wireless router at home, I believe.
in Croatia, it happened that it was installed a small Wi-Fi router. It is project Wi-Fi for European Union to cover the whole European public places with free Wi-Fi. And somebody took a picture and said, okay, this is the 5G. And for 2 hours, somebody came with a baseball bat to destroy the Wi-Fi router. Okay, guys, all of us, we have Wi-Fi routers at homes. But if I said, okay, that's not Wi-Fi router, do you know experiment what my friend did? Just change your Wi-Fi name to 5G test phase base station, and you will get a panic in your neighborhood, because everybody who can find that title in the Wi-Fi list is going to be funny if you have a neighbors. It's actually the great position for some social experiment. It's not about technology anymore. I'm not sure, but people are scared because of pandemics, to be honest. And
I know everyone is nowadays scared.
We project and scale our fears because of pandemics, trying to find the reasons why that happened. There is also a lot of conspiracy theory and fake news that somebody created this virus. You know, that is not natural thing.
Yeah.
But if you just think a little bit and read about our history, you will see, at least in Europe, that in each century we had at least one pandemic. End of First World War, we had a awful Spanish ill here. I don't know how many. We are talking about tens of millions people die.
And at that time there were no antennas, no mobile phones. I mean, nothing.
Yeah, actually, and I don't know. My observation of all of this, that the nature becomes angry each century approximately on us, just trying to clean something, and it's happening. It's some kind of natural cycle, and it's not necessary that somebody caused that. It's really not necessary, because, you know, we are talking about some specific point, but it's very funny that the most complicated thing in the world is to convince people that it's okay if you say, I don't know. If you just ask me something, I'm not expert in that, I will just say, sorry, Walid, but I don't know, or I can check on that, or it's not in my focus. I will not try to find explanation or answer. That's very important. People always trying to find explanation. Nobody can say, I don't know. Just to convince them. I'm not expert in that. I cannot comment. I don't have idea. And people trying to explain. I suppose that you know funny stories about antique Greece, the lightning in storms. Antique Greek said that, oh, the god Zeus becomes angry and throwing that to us, because nobody was able to explain the fire. And I think we are right now in some similar stage here with 5G. People are scared because they are not educating that, and we need to educate as engineers, as a professional community, as a business community. We need to explain people what we are installing around them, why we need that, What we want to do with 5G, for example, 5G is necessary for smart cities. And if you remember our story about the public services, public transportation, waste management, if we transform these services to be smart, and if we use technology, we will live better. With electrical energy, we are living better than 100 years ago. And we're expecting that for 100 years from now in the future, our kids, grandkids will live better than us. And this is the permanent mission of humanity.
Great. I just received one question, by the way. I had that question too because many people are wondering and asking. Lots of people want to know what is the difference between 4G and 5G?
The different is this part named microcells. Both architecture of 4G and 5G are 80%, maybe 90% the same. You have a regular base station covering the city using the same frequencies. Actually, the 4G will use 800 megahertz. It's just a little bit below 900 megahertz we already using since 2G. We will increase a little bit to 260 is already used for 4G. We will start using 3,600 megahertz. It's a little bit above our Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, whatever. It's a 3.6 gigahertz. We are using at home 2.4. The biggest difference is microcells. 4G base station becomes something, we'll just change the name. We will name this microcell. This is the regular cell covering the part of city for calls, for internet access, for everything. What is new? The new is microcells or small cells, doesn't matter. You can name small cells, microcells, picocells, doesn't matter. It's a public installation, public version of base station acting as a Wi-Fi router, covering the small area, but deploying very high speed data rate.
So actually, the faster the data rate you need, the shorter the length is.
Exactly. And we need to create the width of communication channel, 1 gigahertz at least, to be able to deploy 1 gigabits per second. It's a theoretical limit.
Yeah.
Of course, you can even increase your data rate with advanced version of techniques of modulation for wireless signal, but I will not talk about the signal processing right now. It's something what is necessary just to move there, because if you're using frequency of 900 megahertz, you don't have a space to build 100 megahertz, 1 gigahertz channel width to be able to transfer data on these high rates. We move to 30, and we will use the channels between, I don't know, 29.5 to 30.5. The total width is 1 gigahertz, and we can deploy the high speed. Why? Just because to be able to, for example, to transfer high definition or 4K TV without cable, without regular terrestrial communication, we will deploy all technologies using mobile network. No separated TV terrestrial broadcasting system. We will use theoretically 5G for broadcasting everything, including internet access, multimedia, gaming. With high performance, we will support the self-driving automated cars with super low latency, lower than 1 milliseconds. We are talking about supporting all new applications using only one infrastructure of 5G. So the difference is small cells. But I will just remind people that after 10 meters from the source of wireless signal, the power of the signal is 100 times lower. So electromagnetic wave is getting lower and lower power very fast from the place where you put antenna. And
the way I sometimes say to people, it's like you have a wider road, but a shorter distance where you can place many cars in many lanes. And the other networks are longer but narrower.
I have one illustration just to explain why people shouldn't be scared by base stations, but I want to educate people what is actually danger for us. For us, it's 100 times more danger is this device. It's a smartphone. It's not danger, but if you compare to base station, it's 100 times, can create 100 times more damage to us. Why not? Because the phone is created that 99% of energy sending in this direction. Less than 1% going to our head. Okay, that's clear. Yeah. But it's still 1%. Can you imagine this? You remember maybe from early 1990s, the guys who are using the cassette music?
Yeah.
Here and speakers are very close to ear.
Yeah, the portable radio. Yeah.
What is which audio level is stronger? This or the concert speakers? But you are in 800 row on the concert hall or stadium, and some pop star is there. What is louder for you?
Of course, when you put it beside your ears.
It's the same thing. Yeah. The base station transmitting some energy. When that energy comes to our flats on the streets, it is maybe 1,000 and between 1,000 and 100,000 times lower power and energy level of electromagnetic waves on that position compared to something what transmitting behind your head. It's super great illustration just to explain the regular people what's going on there. So my suggestion, just take your phones off your sleeping rooms, at least that part of the day. Just try, if you're not using phone, just to 2-3 meters, keep your phone far away from you.
Yeah.
And that's it. Of course, it's not critically danger, but you don't need to sleep with your phone behind your head for a year, 6 months.
People nowadays are doing. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's something what is actually really, really important to educate people how to use devices. It's not about the frequency of 5G. I'll just repeat. We are talking about 30 gigahertz. And visible light is 300,000 gigahertz.
Yeah.
10,000 times higher frequency is visible light. And visible light is not killing us. Visible light is necessary for life. We cannot survive without the light. And somebody say, okay, 30 gigahertz will kill us. It's arrogant simplification, everything. Of course, there is a specific situation. It could be danger. I will tell you which one. Theoretically, if you can stand closer than 10 to 5 meters from the base station physically.
Yeah.
But if you check on base station, each base station has a physical barrier that is not able to people to be closer than 10 meters. Just because if you are super close, there is some specific, let's say, behavior of electromagnetic waves in first few meters. After that, you are safe.
Oh,
actually, there is no any scientific proof that we are in danger.
Yeah, of course.
So we need to decide. Maybe is not the healthiest thing that we have electrical power at homes, because you have transmitting from the electric power wires from your walls to you also. But we have to decide. We want to move to Stone Age, or we will accept theoretical minimal not existing risk. Because I cannot see if we're living with 4G for 50 years, it could have some effects, which is not known for science right now. Because who knows that? Yeah. But from everything what we know now, there is no reason to stop technological and every other aspects of let's say progress of humanity in that way. So from what is available for me, I want to say it's super funny story.
Let's see where technology will bring us to. Anyways, we have exceeded like 1 hour already from the live session. I know we can like talk ages over smart cities and over technology, but I will try like to maintain at least like every 2 months we can make some session and like new topics related to smart cities. I just wanted for now to thank each and everyone who joined us today, and I hope that the topic was, was enjoyable for everyone. Just don't forget to stay tuned every Saturday because we have lots of sessions coming in. And you are free like to invite all your business partners, your colleagues, your family, to watch us every Saturday. And now because we have received lots of questions. I will go through some of them, and Alexander will be more than happy to to answer them. In the meanwhile, guys, don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find, as I said in the beginning, also Aleksandar Mastilovic. He has his Facebook page and LinkedIn. I'll put down the links later on in the comments below, so you can like directly connect with him. And of course, we will be giving out two gifts. I will talk about them later once we finish with the questions. Alexander, there is a question from Danny Eider. What is your opinion? What, in your opinion, are the key enabling factors for moving towards smart city? How do you see the development in the ex-Yugoslavian countries? Governments buy-in are marketed, but more as a hearsay than rather strategic support. So what bodies need to be engaged and created to gain the real support?
I think that in this region we have the lack of coordination between different institutions at all. Sometimes it's because we have management issues, sometimes it's political reasons, but I think that we have knowledge, we have let's say expertise more than enough to be very successful, but we didn't find a way in this region of former Yugoslavia how to optimally use actually our potential, especially our smart people. The best proof for that, many of us who left this region becomes very successful around the world, from Australia, Dubai, Germany, UK. Especially, there is a few places when people from former Yugoslavia prefer to move. Maybe the best example, very well known for all of you, I suppose, is Nikola Tesla. He's the best representative of Yugoslavian emigration to somewhere at the end of story to United States.
Yeah.
And maybe we are not new Nikola Tesla people, but I can say that I know at least 1,000 very successful people, not only in engineering, I'm talking about in medical sectors, lawyers working in the United States, in European Union, in Australia, in Japan, the community growing right now in China. But even if we move all these people back here, our politicians, who's actually responsible to be managers of our country, are not interested or able to optimally deploy this knowledge and these resources to establish the, let's say, economical progress and growth in the level which we expect. So I think it's that.
Okay, one question from Georgina Kelly. Many cities in Europe are centuries old and can only contain so many people regardless. Also, not everyone wants to live in a busy city. This was related to what we were talking about in the beginning.
I agree. And if you remember that we talk about that some people prefer to stay in suburban or rural areas just to keep their private life quiet after working time, of course, that's actually the privilege. Smart technologies is not. We are not forcing smart technologies in suburban and urban, in rural areas. We need in multi-million cities just to optimize infrastructure resources. Maybe it's not necessary for 2-3 million people-sized cities, but for 40-50 million people, as I was talking about the India and prediction of the growth of some cities there, I believe strongly that we really need smart cities in full capacity there. Otherwise, we will have a problem to deploy enough water for drinking, food, transportation, everything, even medical health. You need to optimize everything you have just to be sure. And maybe even then is not going to be enough to establish the enough quality of life for citizens. So yeah, it's always about what I said, that most of European cities are not under pressure to deploy technology right now, at least for now, even if they have a money for investment, because everything working even without technology.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Ivana is asking, where do you see Europe regarding business development in 10 years?
Can you just repeat? Sorry.
Where do you see Europe regarding business development in 10 years? Like maybe what you meant, where do you see like Europe in 10 years with the development of the smart cities and IoT?
I think that Europe should be aware of very strong competitors on this area. I was talking about USA and China, and ICT is not something what was the focus of European Union, for example.
Yeah.
Europe is famous because of cars in Germany or some other products, but the most ICT leading companies are based in United States, in Silicon Valley mostly, and some of them growing very fast in Far East in China, like Huawei or ZTE. But we cannot say that we have a lot of companies that level sized in Europe. And I think that Europe compet, competitors in the global market as a Europe, we need to invest more in ICT just to be able to be in the same level with China and United States.
Great, great, great. There are other few questions, but I will leave them like for later. We will answer them all in the comments. Alexander, I want to thank you a lot for your time. As I said, I know you are a very busy person, and your knowledge, really, really gives people a lot. And I hope that I will see you more often in those online interviews.
Thank you for the invitation, and I'm very willing to join your project. And thank you, Walid. Walid is my friend, and I'm really trying to find always enough time to join these great projects. About all questions we didn't discuss right now, please, Walid, if you agree, I don't have a problem to answer later in comments. I will just ask people if it's possible, just tag me or something, just to remind me on Facebook or wherever you leave the comment, and I will answer today, tomorrow. I will leave the answer so we can discuss if it's necessary. Of course, our mission is not only to build, but also to educate people, and I will always find the time to explain everybody the mission of us as engineers in this world. Well, thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. For the people who commented and who will be commenting within the next 2 days, as you all know, we are using some kind of artificial intelligence, by the way, and we have a system that will automatically choose the winners who will be involved in the comments. We will be giving out a free membership to one of the winners, and the second prize will be a 50% discount on our VIP digital marketing packages. Also, don't forget to register on our mailing list, which is available on our website. So everyone will be updated with all the events that will be coming up every Saturday. I just want to thank you all again, and thank you, Alexander. Hope to see you soon. And I will be putting your LinkedIn and Facebook links in the comments below. So whoever wants to connect with you directly or wants to know more about smart cities can talk to you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. See you soon.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.